This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Click onto the link of hopefully of all old shows of Blog Talk Radio. In addition, of course, the phone number is right there. And you know, Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, and responsibility. This month, 101 lessons will come back. I'll keep you posted. However, that is separate from the 101 lessons that I do with individuals and work. Okay? However, you already know that art is occultism and occultism is a motherfucking art. I'm just kind of going through some things because you know I've been coming back with these videos. I get a lot of shit. So I'm just trying to cover it. So don't judge me because I'm coming back with these videos. You know, some of you guys think I'm out here lonely as fuck. I'm just doing my job, right? So we in this alligated energy that they call Black History Month, right? So why not entertain them? But I do have some questions and I'm just wondering, right? So can we just go down some histories and questions and things that have uprooted and things that have been hidden and things that have been lied about? And you know, some of you niggas go read these books at the library and you reading these people thesis and their synopsis and you think it's what it is, what it ain't, what it is. And I have a client, she's from Ghana. And she did a whole research for her thesis and so on, for her master's and PhD in Congo and different parts of Africa, and found that them motherfuckers was lying to her, right? So how can we believe anything as they call history, as they call it, when motherfuckers are lying? I'm sitting here and I'm like, Black people don't even know what the fuck they walking into. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get a new breed of conscious historians. That Tariq Nasheed was one of them. I was caught up for a minute. Then I had to say, where is he getting his information from? He's getting it from them books and shit like that, right? But that's his thesis. I'm not going to judge him on his thesis because I was caught up for a moment. But his thesis should open the door for your thesis, right? So we're going to get, in the long run, a new governmental form of Black history that they want you to spur out. So basically, you're going to get these new niggas that's going to sit up and hold on to your Blackness, right? And they're going to create all of this curriculum and so on and workbooks and all of that and telling you this shit. So that's going to be the new motherfucking hustle. I guarantee it. So however, but let's really talk about my thesis. What I know, right? This is my thesis. There's no wrong, there's no right. It's just my thesis. And you're going to say, oh no, what's she talking about? They say this, they say that. But who and where did the information come from? And you should always have a question mark in your head when it comes up to us, right? What's cracking me up, I'm seeing so much discriminatory frequencies in reference to Black history all of a sudden. It's always been, but all of a sudden, right? And some of you people out there believe what you see and what you don't see. Here's what I'm saying. There's nothing to prove that Trump signed off on anything. You just seen a memo. But that is air and fire magic. So I can't believe air and fire magic because it is to trick your mind. If you didn't hear it out of Trump's mouth, then what the fuck are you talking about? Because all of that is a fucking lawsuit. You can't get rid of. You can't remove. But let's really talk about, in reality, why they want to dissolve Black history and remove Black history. Can we have a conversation about the spellwork and the bewitchery and the witchcraft, the abracadabras, the magicians? White history is black history. Black history is white history. Let that sit on your heart for a motherfucking moment, because you're going to argue about it. But I don't give a fuck. That's why cancers are the gatekeepers. The bottom line is DEI has something to do with their asses and their energies and their frequencies in the workplace. See, you millennials and Gen Zs are now getting a whiff of these white women, of how they fucking cut your neck, cut your throat, and backstab you in the workplace. That is DEI. See, some of you black men and some of you black women getting a whiff of these white men and their behaviors. That is DEI under them, because there's some energies going on with them. See, there's something going on with our minds that we didn't forgot who these people are. And they want to hide that history. Once you understand who they are, after you didn't got dicked down by them, after you didn't date them, after you didn't had your children by them, after they're your best friend and all that shit, but maybe we have to go back in time. See, we got to do some quantum leaping. Okay, so let's have a conversation about some things, okay? I'm just talking. DEI. White people have behavioral problems, allegedly. They have anxiety, allegedly. They're impulsive, allegedly. They have destructure, impulsive behavior, where they have to destroy and destroy and destroy until they get what they need. Aggressive and aggression, aggressive autism. The first study of aggressive autism was done on white children. Experiment, testing, and study. Those white kids grew up to be your presidents, allegedly. Your boss, allegedly. The world, allegedly, right? We just talking because they talk about us, right? They talk shit about us, right? They have a form of kleptomania syndrome. They talk about us, but they steal hella shit. Land, identities, and all. Culture and religion. I'm not being racist. I'm just talking who they are. I'm going to read some shit to back this up, right? Because we just talked about black history, right? You know, because some of you niggas out there be like, that bitch with that afro doing too fucking much, fat bitch. I know you Negroes. I don't give a fucks. I'm just putting it out there so we have it on the floor. These people running around here under the entity of social psychiatry, aggression, destruction. Some of them are under narcosynthesis. They're under that medicine. They're under the asylum, these white folks, right? Then they have the audacity to have honorary white people, the Indians, the Chinese, and the created Native Americans and all the rest of these motherfuckers. That's why y'all under psychosis, right? White hysteria, DEI, white hysteria. We up here looking at Melania. What's her name? Melania, Trump's wife, right? She don't know if she want to dress as a Russian Nazi or as a plague doctor. But all of it fits. We don't trip that white people eyes wide shut. They love to cosplay. Not because of culture, but a created energy. What? They always got to give us signs and symbols. And you got to rack your brain to figure out what the fuck they're doing. She out here dressed as the vision of death, but with an undertone of Nazi Russia. The fuck is this? Go read on Plague Doctor. And that's why I said Eyes Wide Shut. There's a part of San Francisco that's very interesting. I don't know if I want to call this an interesting part of Hate Street that is dark as a motherfucker, and it is eyes wide shut. These motherfuckers dressing up in these masks and looking a certain way, and they dressed as these demons that they believe that they are. We better understand who these people are. Cosplay. We have to understand the government created a Ku Klux Klan on Christmas to make you niggas scared of ghosts, but they're cosplaying, but they're not telling you nurses and European nurses and there is some practice cultures. This is how they dress. And this is supposed to scare us? And we didn't pick up on their psychosis? That's a psychosis. How in the fuck we are afraid of the fucking Ku Klux Klan? Why are black people scared of them? Do you know that's a psychosis? If they beat ass, you beat ass. If they shoot guns, you shoot guns. What the fuck? What's the psychosis? We are afraid to say, what the fuck was our ancestors doing? Because they were beat down to smithereens. They didn't know what the fuck that is. They just know these interesting white people didn't come and cut the fuck up. And act very impulsive and act like drug addicts. Destructive. Impulsive, dangerous, volatile. They're thieves. They're inhumane. They're primitive. They create things to cause capital punishment. They create metals. And they know how to drug our people to follow their bullshit. They gave us the illusion that it was more them than more than us. I study these people as well as you should too. But we're in a new society that is inclusive. And you think black is DEI. No, DEI is them. Because they the ones that go into work and cut the fuck up and say, we cut the fuck up, but they cut the fuck up. Especially white women on the job. We just talking Black History Month, right? Because white history is black history. Black history is white history. We just talking. We up here not tripping. Your own Masonic bullshit is what created the KKK. That created these standards of racism, discriminatory. That created breeding places to have incestuous relationships, to cause mental disorders. Scottish rites, right? So let's get into some New Year's frequencies. I'm sorry, Lunar New Year, but Black histories. I have some questions, right? And as black people, we didn't forgot who we are. We didn't got tied up in certain lifestyles and certain beliefs and behaviors that is Caucasian. We have these new orchestrated breeds of cyber magic of people that tell us, fuck your family, fuck them, fuck this, fuck that. I'll be the first person to say, divorce your family. But you gotta have a reason. My son said to me, Mom, you have ghosted your family. Fuck yeah. For me to fucking be. But I know who they are. Sometimes you got to divorce them. Not separate, but divorce. Right? But as long as you know who your history. But what do you do with motherfuckers who have grew up in a certain environment? Group home foster care, adopted by white folks, and so on, that don't even know who in the fuck they are. What can you do with that? What can you do when there's an orchestrated energy that has created a new entity and new entities in the black community that you give motherfuckers say, fuck ancestral magic? It's not my fault that you're not named after anybody in your fucking family. I had to go back and remember I'm named after my fucking grandmother. My older cousin who passed is named after my grandmother. That's a fucking honor. I talk shit about my grandmother, but do you understand that's a fucking honor? And I didn't realize it until something hit me. What the fuck am I doing? I could talk all the shit that I want, but I still have to put respect on her name. Because my mom named me after her mother. Not only did she name me after her mother, she also named me after my aunt. Those are honors. That is black history. Within our own families, we have freaking black histories, and they have taught you fucking nigglets that you don't have black history within your own fucking family. If you start off with the black history in your fucking family, then you can span out and expand the other history out in the universal soul. But if you don't understand your own history, and they didn't set up and created different frequencies for you not to have family, then you're not going to respect black history. That's why some of you niggas are out here inclusive. I have to give a special reminder to my own kids. They don't want you to have a mother. They don't want you to have a father. They don't want you to have elders. They'll kill off your father so you don't have any understanding about shit. Do you know my kid's father was a whole lost soul? Because he was adopted. And his adoptive mother, that family, even though he was a motherfucker, was like, fuck him. He's not yours anyway. Bloodline is so fucking important. And when you have entities out here who are under the entity of DEI, who have intellectual disorders, who are impulsive and witch doctors, and sit there and prey on and create energies and study you so you don't have a connection with family, we got to ask motherfucking questions in this month that we call Black History. No, this should be called Black Research. You have to question white people who have an issue with you trying to understand yourself when they understand when their motherfucking ass is involved with part of the problem. See, white people like to hide shit, right? Because they really don't want to tell you why they want to dissolve and disband and neutralize Black history, because it would show who in the fuck they really are. But they need to hide who they are because they need to make sure that the Indians are on a bandwagon, the Mexicans are on a bandwagon, the Chinese are on a bandwagon, everybody else who's third world's on a bandwagon, and they need to paint this picture that Black people ain't shit. And they are the Captain Save-A-Holes, and they are the saviors. But we're going to go down and ask some fucking questions of how we forgot about that, right? Because when I go back and I look at my own history, and I'm like, damn, your freaking family tree is your spirit book. It is your book of shadows. It is your history book. And they knew family is so, and communal frequencies are so important to Black people to thrive, to college, for business, for mental, for frequencies, for family values. All, they knew it, and they broke it apart. Drugs. Notice they always use drugs. Not alcohol, because your daddy or whosoever could be a stone cold alcoholic and still be the damn good father. So we're not going to play games, but drugs will knock you out. They made you people forget about who you are. They told you that you were transgendered. They told you that you're non-binary. They told you who you are is on a fucking flag with pastel colors, and at the end of it is brown. They told you that you are misogynistic. They told you you ain't shit because you don't want to fuck a trans man. That's what they told your ass. They told you that you got to be inclusive. They told you that you are discriminatory because you're not inclusive and you don't want to go along with this bullshit to keep your fucking culture, right? So you created a new culture. You are so fucking disgruntled because you're angry about this. You're angry about that. You're angry about this. Shit, we all go through motherfucking go through shit. That's what makes us stronger. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It makes us who we are. It creates who we are. But you have certain entities out here that told you, well, you better fuck me, a white man, and my wife. You got to do all this shit. You better bend your ass up. You better do this. You better do that. You better be part of this. You better be part of that. You better be part of this. But they keep sacrificing us. They keep sacrificing us. And we keep going through it and going for it. I had to go through some things, right? I'm named after my grandmother, but I had to go through some history. Because I said, dang, I have my own book of history. I need to start here. Sometimes in families, we don't understand why our parents and grandparents say shit, right? And we'll say, oh, that's racist. That is discriminatory. I'm not being rude right now, but I have some questions on what the fuck was my grandmother talking about. Like my grandmother said, when Asian women open up their legs up, it's like venom. But my grandmother was a nurse, so what did she know? And what did she know at that time? Because she would talk about it at the dinner table. She would talk about their foods. She would talk about everything about Asian people, Chinese. I'm just talking what my grandmother is. And some of y'all be like, oh, she wrong. She ignorant. She this, she that. I don't give a fuck. I want to know what she know. I want to understand what the fuck was she talking about. So I can have my own opinion. I can't worry about what y'all niggas talking about. Okay, my grandmother got sued up in court and she was testifying, and I'm not being rude, but she said this because my mom said that it shut down the whole fucking court. And the judge was so angry and he had to take a rest. And my grandmother said, that woman Jewed me down. She just Jewed me down. And I was like, and I'm like a kid, and my mom was like, oh my gosh. I don't know why mama said that. She said the judge, he was so appalled, and he told my mom that, and he said, da 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 da, you have insulted the court. And she said my grandmother sat there in confusion. But y'all would say that's wrong. No, I want to understand, what does that mean and why did she say that? My Aunt Julia told my brother, I'm a liar and you a pretty boy. And till this day, I'm like, what? And I asked my Aunt Julia, I said, what? She said, I'm a liar and he's a pretty boy. What? She would say, oh, don't worry about that. That's just a fish fart. Then she'll turn around and say, when you're going through things in your life, time brings a change. Time and season and time and time and okay. But we don't get that anymore because we didn't got involved with DEI bullshit and inclusive shit that tell us it's wrong to understand folkloric bullshit like this, right? Because you guys think it's bullshit, but we got to understand what it is. But some of you guys don't have that background because you guys have grown up in environments without stability. Without culture and customs. See, they sit up and say that American black people don't have cultures and customs. I'm an American black person, and I have and I have culture and customs. What the fuck you talking about? Some of you Caribbean people pop out in your shit. We need to figure out who are these new breeds coming out with their own culture. The Dragon Ball is a subculture of what you do as a lifestyle. And you're like, what the fuck is a Dragon Ball? Being part of entities that have a subculture is not a created culture. It's just where you go when you don't have a culture. And what I'm talking about is the ballroom scene. It's a subculture. Them people are not your mother. Them people are not your father. You didn't come out their assholes, and you didn't come out their dick balls. You didn't come out any vaginas or fake vaginas that they think they have. You guys created a lifestyle. That's why y'all out here fucked up. Happy Black History Month. Offended, so the fuck what? Go back. Who has a culture, look at your culture. I had to go back and look at my grandmother's father. My grandfather's father attended Tuskegee and got his degree and opened up a cleaners in Texas. The fuck? That's history. My grandmother's husband, my mother's father, and my uncle's father was in the military, from what I understood. Went to Alaska, opened a construction business working on the pipelines there. That's history. My grandmother moved from Texas to San Francisco, worked the shipyards over there in the Bayview with that toxic ass shit, put herself through nursing school, bought a fucking house, created a gambling crew of women. They all talking among themselves in their gambling club. All of them are RN nurses who also work the shipyards and everything else, put themselves through school, then end up opening home care businesses. Willie Brown, the ex-mayor of San Francisco, lived across the street from my grandmother. They used to be all friends and shit because he's allegedly from Texas. That's history, right? I'm confused. We have history right in our families. Okay. Then women who was sitting there with my grandmother was nothing but a whole party of witches. One of them had a whole home healthcare business and was a witch crew. Just one who was in the crew by themselves. One of the motherfuckers up in the witch crew was my kid's father's mother. Everything is history. If I can tell my kids, I've been knowing your father since I was 5, he was 6, then what the fuck? History. These black people got in these gambling parties and talked about property ownership. They have properties. My grandmother and her crew had property over there in Napa. And I didn't know any better. And my cousin was trying to say, look, don't sell your piece because you can rent it out to Fritzer wineries. After my grandmother passed. Call me bougie, but it's only true. You have your own history, right? Entrepreneurship. We don't talk about these black people because y'all done lost yourselves. My Aunt Julia was the first black woman in San Francisco to work on a trolley car and drive it. First black woman and first woman. But they don't talk about people like that. I guess you have to be an Eastern Star and Masonic. for them to recognize you. My Aunt Julia married 2 military men and went to jail for bigamy. That's history. My Aunt Julia taught me language, meaning Southern language. My Aunt Julia, somebody in the comments had an issue the way how I pronounce Vietnamese. I don't give a fuck. Because my Aunt Julia called them Vietnams. You niggas call it AIDS, she call it aid. You guys say Sears, she says Sears and Robux. We just talking Black history, right? In language. My mom was in a neo-soul gospel group. Before neo-soul was ever thought about, I was already drinking apple juice and smelling incense back then. These Erykah Badu's and these other motherfuckers ain't got shit on no neo-soul gospel. I was introduced to vegetarianism then. The fuck? My mother did a whole fucking neo-gospel album, and I was on it. They went to perform, and I didn't want to get on stage, and she dragged my ass on stage and took her knee and kicked me. Need the fuck out of me to get on that stage. Y'all don't know nothing about no neo-gospel. Neo-soul comes from neo-gospel. That's a whole other darker energy. That's above y'all pay grade. That's a whole different type of witchery. San Francisco. I'm going to talk San Francisco because that's where I'm from. We don't want to talk about how San Francisco is so fucking witchery. They just show you the white folks, but they don't show you the black people who taught them white folks how to do work. You niggas out here, especially in San Francisco, especially didn't even peep how the new age white folks went and learned Orisha shit and called themselves high priestesses and shit to keep Hate Street going. They started learning Orisha shit from Lower Hate to Upper Hate and Valencia Street. In San Francisco, yeah. Some of them new age stores that call themselves kind of like what is it? The southwestern of frequencies, right? San Francisco, people talk so much about Los Angeles. San Francisco has hippies, all of that. And they was doing work. You want to talk about tarot card throwing? The black people from Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas taught them white folks what the fuck to do. They don't want to talk about how Anton LaVey was working with black people. They don't want to talk about how they would go over there in Alamo Square in San Francisco. Just right there, you might as well say Fillmore, between the Visitor and Fillmore, Alamo Square, and the shit that was going on. We don't want to talk about how black people was keeping and buying properties, doing spell work. No? You don't want to talk about how them hippies would connect with black people to learn how to do voodoos and all this shit, right? Hate is probably the only frequencies in San Francisco that's really haven't really been so strongly affected. Right? Black people will have businesses and bless their businesses. And other black people will bless their businesses. I'll give a shout out to the Kraft family, to Mr. Kraft, who used to be doing barbecue up in brother-in-law's. That's my grandmother and friend and shit. They from Texas. That's Spellwork. All these folkloric spells in San Francisco that came from black folks. We don't want to talk about the gold rush of how they were using black people in the gold rush. I even give a shout out to the Asians, the real Chinese that were my complexion and darker. And they was calling them niggas. And they was working, doing shit, right? We don't want to talk about that. And some of you people out there talk about, I'm a Satanist. Well, Anton LaVey learned a lot of shit from black people. And they don't want to talk about that part, right? Because we know he was a hack. That's why I told you Alamo Square. We don't want to talk about how black people, especially we had a lot of people from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Senegal that was teaching white people about the pentagram and how to work that shit. Black mass rituals. We don't want to talk about in different parts of San Francisco, especially Sunnydale and Double Rock, what type of work was going on there. The Harbor Road, the Bayview area, Hunters Point, whatever. We don't want to talk about East Oakland, that energy, how they was doing all that Louisiana dark work, and how you had different energies going on there, especially Richmond. We don't want to talk about that part because Richmond has a lot of Arkansas work. We don't want to talk about the black native people of California because you guys want to believe about these other people who are not real. They're just hybrids. I'm going to acknowledge my father's ancestors, black history. Coming out of Mexico into Texas, San Diego, the California, and into just California, period. Who are these people? And their last name held. Because they were named after the energies of their native tribe. Ancestral energies. A shout out to my I would say my great grandmother's father, who was Chinese. Okay, Black history. I'm going to give a shout out to Jim fucking Jones. His church was right there in fucking Fillmore. He had all them niggas going. He had them all working in his Dug and Drug bin and all that shit. I'll give a shout out. Jim Jones, where he over there buried at, where in East Oakland? Or allegedly, wherever he's buried at, or the kids. Hey, history. He's connected to black people. You need to be giving a shout out to Dr. York. As much as shady that nigga is, there's a lot of history right there. That history created, even though it's governmental, created a lot of frequencies and industry. Give a shout out to black liberation groups. Even though it's government orchestrated, but it created history. Shit, give a shout out to the conscious community. They fucked up a whole community. Shit. They done brought in ops, CIA, FBI, all that shit. Thank you, conscious community. I think the SFPD, they should be part of black history. How they framed, bullshitted, lied on many black guys, killed them, set them up, put them in jail. was part of putting white vans in certain neighborhoods with guns in it, especially at that shipyard. You know who you are. Creating massacres, covering up your face, doing drive-by shootings, killing niggas, causing war, warfare, territories, and it was your ass all along, SFPD, DAs, allegedly, turf wars. See, we don't pull these people as part of Black history, but they are. Shrimp boy for employing niggas. I give a shout out to my son's his ex preschool, St. Nicholas, for lying on my son. That caused me to be a better parent. That caused me to watch out for these people who will sit up and put a label on your kid and the shit is not true. Who try to create a fucked up road for your kid. All his schools, thank you. Because I took him out and I homeschooled him. I had to restructure. Shout out to San Francisco Eastern Stars and Deltas. Because I know them Deltas ran San Francisco, especially the black ones. I have some questions. Biden pardoned Marcus Garvey, right? I started to look at Marcus Garvey very closely. Was he an indigenous Indian? Should we reevaluate to see some of you guys get confused? But he's a Jamaican. No. Was Marcus Garvey? I believe he's indigenous. I went back and the real pictures of Harriet Tubman showed up. That woman was fucking indigenous. The Great Migration, that didn't exist. Those were fucking indigenous Indians. Or indigenous people. I hate to say Indians. Native people. Indigenous people. Because we want to separate ourselves from their frequencies, right? Then I went back and I started looking at some energies, right? We just talking Black history. Let me see if I can find it. Because I want to make sure that I get the energies, because when I looked at Harriet Tubman, I said, oh, this is the real one. So those other pictures were fake. Okay, I went back and I looked at, it says Sojourner Truth. That woman was Native. Are you telling me that for real, all these people didn't come from Africa? They were already here. Because then I heard, of course, in Jamaica, if we want to talk Marcus Garvey, they were natives. Harriet Tubman and all of them were natives. They didn't come from no damn Africa. They were here. Okay, wait a minute. So let's talk some Black history, because I have some questions. Let's go down through some things. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So this is why white history is Black history. And I believe this is why they want to get rid of Black history. Because white people, they have some explaining to do about who they are, right? On this day, November 3rd, 1874, white mob wages deadly violence against Black community seeking to vote. Okay. On this day, November 1862, U.S. government sentences over 300 Dakota men to death. Okay. On this day, 1947, police shooting killed unarmed Black man, military veteran, after arguing with a white bar owner. Man wounded fatally by 8 police officers. Bullets in downtown shooting. 1931, 2 Black women died after segregated Georgia hospital refuses medical care. And we have to watch that RFK Kennedy, because from what I heard, he used interesting wording in reference to Black medical care. And they are saying that we, as Black people, are now going to medical school. So that makes sense to why Chinese are telling Black women and shit and Black people to come to them for medical care. No, take your Black asses to medical school, because we need our own care. Let's look at this. You know, we got to understand some things, because white history is Black history. Black history is white history. But white people say, fuck Black history, but your white asses, allegedly, is all up in it. Let's have some more questions. Okay. So, young Black man lynched for allegedly frightening white girl in Leesburg, Virginia. Now, who did that? Who did that? What's it, y'all? Okay, let's go. 1866, Texas legislators authorized leasing of county jail inmates for profit. Ooh, that sounds familiar. We were just looking at the Palisades fires. November 10th, 1898. Wilmington Massacre. Wilmington Massacre? Well, who did that? November 12th, 1935. Mob of 700 white people lynches 2 Black teenagers in Colorado, Texas. Prosecutors defend lynching of 2 boys as a will of the people. And you said, white people, fuck Black history, but your asses is still in it. Can you get out of it? Texas officials threaten in jail NAACP officers for not disclosing members. NAACP must give list of names or face arrest. 1957. November 15th, 1830, North Carolina legislators mandates death sentence, repeated decimation of anti-slavery pamphlets. What? Okay. November 17th, 1937, 1,000 white students and faculty at University of North Carolina host Imperial Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. But white people, you said fuck Black history. But then your asses shouldn't be in it. But you said that Black people are volatile and all of these things. But I'm so confused. What's happening here? your history. Basically, you're telling us, fuck your ancestors. That's their problem. But you're still doing it today. You have this person called President Trump that keep doing these executive orders that's hella illogical. But we'll get to that in a minute. On this day, November 19th, 1906, white employers in Texas refused to hire wrongfully discharged black veterans. November 21st, 1927, Supreme Court upholds law banning Chinese Americans from white schools. That's why they asses were at black colleges. November 22nd, 1865, Mississippi authorized sale of black orphans to white masters or mistresses. Meanwhile, you Negroes have so much power in Maryland and D.C., it should be revenge and redemption because of the breeding energies that they had going, especially in Philadelphia. You have whole little voodoo dolls that's buried underneath the earth and more and spread it around these DMV area, and y'all don't use that. Okay. I'm just asking questions. Let's keep going. Enslaved black man who escaped University of North Carolina targeted for re-enslavement, 1829. November 20th, 1933, 7,000 white people hang and burn 18-year-old black man in public spectacle lynching in Missouri. And I heard Missouri energies is very dark. On November 29th, 1864, U.S. force kills hundreds of indigenous people in Sand Creek Massacre. So you telling me, white people, that you ain't got shit to do with us? This is not your history? You telling me that y'all don't go massacre cities and states? That you don't go and bury people underwater? Plant them other shit? Plant them under shit? That grow fruits and vegetables? Then you eat that shit like a cannibal? I'm just asking questions. This is your history too. I'm just reading it. November 30th, 1921, local sheriffs in Texas permit the lynching of a 15-year-old black boy in broad daylight. Remember that killing and the man's head in Texas was decapitated, and he was friends with these white boys drinking with him, and they went and drug him down the street? That was my friend's cousin. And told me about that, and she told me the whole story. She said no, he knew them people. He knew them from when he was older, but he knew them as children. And he trusted them, and he drank with them. Look up that story. What's that, in the 90s? Or was it the early millennium? It was the 90s, I believe. And they they drug him. He knew them. He was cool with them. Cesar Chavez, 1970, December 3rd. Cesar Chavez jailed for leading boycott against coercive farmers. Have you ever, I've met Cesar Chavez's son. I'm not tripping. His son was a whole cholo, and he was dark as fuck. That was my first time. I'm ignorant. That was my first time really understanding the blacks in Mexico. And the presidents and all this and the presents. I remember he come knocking at the door, because that's when they tried to flood the fuck out of us. And he was like, I'm so sorry this happened. We're going to put you up at that ghetto ass Ramada where pimping and pandering goes on in downtown San Francisco Civic Center, up the street from the GA office. And I apologize. Supreme Court, 1927, upholds. Oh, let me see here. No. Went back. Local sheriff Texas permits. No, that's the wrong one. God damn. Let me get back. Okay, here I go. 1969, Chicago police assassinates Black Panther Party leader Fred Hampton and Mark Clark in pre-dawn raid. You know, the Black Panther Party is very interesting. And the reason why the Black Panther Party is very interesting is because it was government created. It's like as if they pulled these black men out of prison, because you know a lot of prison guys be down for they down for the cause. And they just killed them off. Drugs, alcohol, whatever, just killed them off. But used them to create WIC and all that shit, right? December 6, 1915, Supreme Court rules American women with foreign husbands lose citizenship. Let me say something here. You see that crazy propaganda story of that woman that's supposed to be from New York, and allegedly she ran her ass to Pakistan to go find some young husband. That is straight propaganda. What I believe and what I see is a bunch of bullshit. Don't you black women take your black asses over there giving these motherfuckers citizenship so they can come over here and live and be free and go marrying them. Just like my Bible owl would try to make me go to Cuba to get crowned and shit so I could go marry a Cuban guy. That's what that shit is. That is demonic, that is demented, and that is diabolical. That woman was on bullshit. Where in the fuck did they get her from? Was she part of the conscious community? Was she from an asylum? Then what's weird is they tried to give you this presence like she is well taken care of over there. I said, that is bullshit. Where did they get her from? Who gave her a passport? How did she go over there? Then everybody walking with her and prancing her around like she's a fucking animal. I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I said, what is this woman who has on this Looney Tune makeup, this psychopath makeup? And then I started looking at her makeup. I said, damn, that's that same shit that they be putting on black women nowadays. Like we fucking psychopaths. Stop falling for this fucking spell work that they keep putting out here with this propaganda, setting our black asses up. They'll sit up and create all of this deflection and create all this strife between black men and black women for us to go off with these third world motherfuckers to help them get into America because we're desperate for some fucking dick. That shit is ridiculous, and that is psychological warfare. I don't believe that story one bit. And then to top it off, did you guys see how they had her dressed like a clown and then she was pigeon-toed and all that shit? I said, is this bitch an alien? I don't know. So the bottom line is that I don't believe any of that shit. That shit is fucking orchestrated. And then wherever she was, I guess it was an Islamic or Muslim frequency. And the way they kept letting her have the floor and speaking, her making demands, that bitch, that is a fake ass story. I don't know where they got her from. Again, I don't know what position they're trying to put black women in desperateness, but don't you take your ass somewhere marrying these motherfuckers, helping them get into America, and them trying to sacrifice us and use our vaginas to help their asses get in. Fuck that shit. Know what the fuck you're getting yourself into. The problem is you guys have no more religion and foundation, then you get caught up and listen to these old crazy ass stories and make y'all think, oh God, they treated her, they so respectful of her. Yeah, that's right. Then you go marry the motherfuckers, they beating your ass real good. Fuck that shit, allegedly. Y'all think I'm crazy? Then my black ass is crazy as fuck. But I know what I see, and I know what I know, and I know something ain't right about that whole fucking story. And you're not going to keep sitting up here using black women and sacrificing us and trying to pimp and pander. Do you know that's a form of pimping and pandering? They never said really how they connected. Why was she distinctly fucking around with a Pakistani person? That's kind of off-brand. But then they start to talk about the history of Pakistan and all that shit and these coolies and all of that and what that means to us and how a lot of the Indians and Pakistanis and so on came into America and mixed in with black American women and Puerto Rican women and all that. It's like as if they set out to pimp and pander us. Shit. Allegedly. We just talking. This is Black History Month, right? Start to go back and look at your history and reference again to Native Black people. Now it's uprooting itself, right? They're calling is in a very interesting frequency Native Blacks pre-ceramic. Do you know that's like scarlet color? That's like a darker red. Have you ever heard of that energy? They keep showing us cut and variations of certain entertainers looking like Egyptians. But did you guys ever see the frequencies of the real black energies in Incas and Mayans and Aztecs? Did you guys see that energy of them matching up Tupac's face to one of the Incas? That's above y'all pay grade, huh? Because you guys are so involved in the Egyptian frequency. But did you guys ever think there wasn't really a such thing as the Egyptian culture, that it really came from somewhere else? Do you really understand how many pyramids around, not only in the United States, but just around the world? This is above y'all pay grade. Are you sure the Egyptians are not the Moors and y'all is not getting confused because we don't know what it is, what it ain't? We just talking, right? Black history. Start to study more about the Mayans. Start to look at those kids, the kids that were used for sacrifice, that were uprooted out of the pyramids and mountains. And sometimes I wonder, I said, why would they even uproot them? Do you ever wonder why, white history, why do white people go to places, dig up body parts, and then steal them? You heard about the whole energies in Africa, how Germany and shit went to Africa, stole all their shit, and then won't give it back. Why do white people do that? Why do they go to places and steal shit? Just like the real energies of, was it Cartier jewelry? And I talked about this with Cartier jewelry. How Cartier went and stole the Egyptian jewelry. And that's how all his people died and shit, because that shit has spell on it. Oh no, it's not the Incas that Tupac looked like. He looked like the Mayans. We just all over the place. We just talking, right? And the funky thing about it is that they used black people in psychology to go against black people. I was researching this energy of Dr. Mamie is it Dr. Mamie Phipps Clark? And she did the whole research and the experiment of segregation and integration, and how black children look at themselves in the world of alleged segregation, right? To create this mental health thing that they need to be integrated. But in reality, she on bullshit. Who and what Masonic energy and what white people paid for her to say segregate me, to integrate black children? Because, to be honest with you, black kids thrive very well in segregated conditions within themselves. They do not thrive very well in integrated energies. So this was the beginning stages of mental health and progression among black children, to integrate black kids into this fucked up ass energy. Do you see what I mean? Because within that energy, and what do they call it? The kindergarten to prison pipeline. That's created. All of this shit is created. Then you're discriminated and harassed by your teachers. But in reality, black people do very well in segregated conditions. We just talking, right? Because I don't believe in her philosophies. Maybe you do, but I don't. Because how do I know that they didn't do an experiment or something to make them kids believe that they looked down, that they're frowned upon? When black kids around themselves, they look at themselves in a higher degree and frequencies. So if you look at Hispanic kids who among themselves, they thrive. White kids thrive. Asian kids thrive when they're with themselves. When black people are not within themselves, they don't thrive. We're just talking, right? Black people get lost in these abolitionists, right? Like I was looking at this man, and his name is William Lloyd Garrison, founding the anti-slavery newspaper, The Liberator, and co-founder of the American Anti-Slavery Society. See, the problem is with us, we trust these people. See, you white people said that you're not part of our history, but you are part of our history. White history is black history. Black history is white history. Here you are right here. Right here. Levi Coffin Jr., 1798-1877, a Quaker known as the president of the Underground Railroad. Coffin helped thousands of enslaved people escape freedom motivated by Christian beliefs. I told you about them Quakers. I thought y'all wasn't part of our history, though. And they steadily talking about the devil's punch bowl. Brazilian Indigenous from Amazon hears the word alien for the first time, but when shown gray alien pictures, they recognized it immediately. What's that about? Do you understand that black churches would create sermons that would strengthen power and black people would come together? Which is Bible magic, Bible thumping? Okay. Let's also talk about history. Let's talk about the Moors were the first gay community. Y'all don't want to talk about that because y'all too busy wearing them fizzes. Okay. We don't want to talk about Egypt, and the Egyptian frequency was the first Dr. Frankenstein energy, the trans community. We don't want to talk about how the men were the women, the women were the men, and how they were chopping up bodies and shit, and cutting up breasts, and making elixirs and powders. Okay. We don't want to talk about the first trans male because we don't want to talk about black men body parts. See, y'all are up there thinking that that's Sarah, what's this called, Sarah Bartman? See, y'all thought that was a woman, from South Africa. That's what you guys thought, right? But you didn't know it was really a man. And that's why they cut out the vagina, because they didn't want you to know it was a dick. And they leading you to make you believe that all of these horrifying things, but the bottom line is that they're not telling you the truth, that what was really going on with them fucking infatuated white men. Because they not talking about that there were certain tribes of men that were built a certain way. That's why I was telling like some men from the gay community, like black men are meaty. They have a certain body frame. See, we don't want to talk about Sarah, what's it called, Sarah Bartman, and they start calling her Hot Toddy, but it's really a man. We don't want to talk about this. There was a certain tribe of men, especially in Africa, that were shaped a certain way, and these white motherfuckers were going over there very interested. This is above your pay grade. No, that's not true. I seen this. They told me that. You better reevaluate shit of what the fuck was really going on. Above y'all pay grade, huh? There's some reevaluations that y'all need to be doing, huh? Let's do some reevaluation. In Black history, we had certain sensationalized beatings. I think you guys better reevaluate the energies of Rodney King. What was that really about? And what was that connected to? It's above your pay grade. Latasha Harlan. What the fuck was that really about? What is she connected to? Tamara Rice. Shouldn't you reevaluate that? George Floyd. When are you going to reevaluate that? Trayvon Martin. When are you going to reevaluate that? Okay. Sandra Bland. When are you going to reevaluate that? Alton Sterling. When are you going to reevaluate that? Michael Brown. You should reevaluate that. Okay, and Dick Gregory was trying to tell y'all to what's up, but y'all wasn't listening, so they had to make sure to off him because he was talking too much allegedly. Freddie Gray. When are we going to do that, right? Oscar Grant. There's things about that Oscar Grant story that I think y'all don't know. And people were so connected to it and so much money was put out in a movie. But here's the thing. I know how can I explain this? Oscar Grant was arrested with somebody else that was there. The other person that was there, who's Oscar Grant's friend, I know their mama, who's a white woman. What it is, what it ain't is what it is. Because later on, they end up killing her son. And there's certain things that they're not telling you, and yada, yada, yada. I'm just saying. But they made sure to create Benjamin Crump, right? We just talking Black history to reevaluate some shit. Eastern Star shit, Masonic shit, setup shit. Tamar Rice. We don't want to reevaluate shit. Okay. I'm just going to put that on the shelf. This is above your pay grades. Louisiana is about tired of you new motherfuckers still trying to call they shit Carnival. Carnival is Caribbean. It has nothing to do with Mardi Gras, Louisiana. Shit. Are y'all trying to go to that Super Bowl? In the Caesar / Spectrum? What is not the Spectrum, but the Coliseum or whatever? Good luck. You know what's very interesting, what we should investigate, is how eerie motherfuckers sit up and use people's energy and we're listening to it. Do you know that's demonic and diabolical? Why are we listening to Messy Maya and Big Frida? I don't trust no Big Frida. But why are we listening to Messy Maya? Are y'all, when y'all listen to Messy Maya, you telling me that's not eerie? Then I started to investigate Soldier Slim. I said, is that why I see murder in jail and shit? What kind of demonic energies are going on? Where them? Remember that person, Shaky, and they went and incarcerated him so he can't talk anymore, and he was on YouTube. I have questions. Black history. Black history. How come we listen to man when they tell us about the Bible and women? Black history. I talked to you and told you about the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment and lost her blood, lost her power. But what type of energies and forecasting and spell work were we under when they telling us, if you don't have your period anymore, you can't get pregnant because you're menopausal? But what they failed to tell us, and I had to learn, and I've been seeing it, is, bitch, you still got eggs and you still could get motherfucking pregnant, and it is not a fluke. You're fucking Sarah. They say women who bleed are dangerous. A woman who's not bleeding and still could get pregnant during menopause is a motherfucker. And as you really start to research, it is man who put all these stipulations on when women could get pregnant and cannot. Did we forget our family histories of, especially how our elders was getting pregnant at 60 years old? How can we ever listen to this? Do you know, when you listen to women of the past, they never said that they couldn't get pregnant during menopause? They asses was getting pregnant during menopause. That's why your uncle looked like an old man and your auntie looked like a senior citizen. What the fuck is going on here? We don't ask questions? Okay. How come in Black history we didn't peep the energies that they call Egyptian were the first robots? How come we didn't understand the first robots were the ones wearing armor and mask, armor, metals, gold? We didn't understand that gold jewelry is robotic. Well, thank our ancestors for being the first motherfuckers to create and engineer metals and robotic frequencies. You know, having the full armor of God on. And chariots. Did y'all know New Orleans real name, and I can't pronounce it, is Bubancha, Bulbanch, that was named by the Choctaw Indians. And then when the French came in, they called it Nouvelle Orleans, Nouvelle. So should we be calling it its original name? See, when we understand the original names of shit, that's the spell work. How the fuck you Louisiana people calling it New Orleans and shit and all this bullshit, and they over here lying? What the fuck? Bubancha? the... Okay. Because we know Mississippi, all of that is native, right? Again, we're just talking Black history. Part of Black history, a woman from Brazil was in a fucking wheelchair named Elaine Perez Pina, and her ass then had over 30 pounds of cocaine that was hidden up in the motherfucking wheelchair. Did y'all hear about that LinkedIn selling information to AI, for selling your information to AI? LA had a whole protest in reference to the whole energies of the immigration shit. Now, it's very interesting. I didn't see Black people cutting up and writing shit on the walls, talk about Black Lives Matter and all that shit. Not the way the Mexicans cut up during Black Lives Matter. I heard that they fuck around with Clarence Thomas and he's supposed to be stepping down allegedly. Have y'all been hearing what the fuck is going on in Mexico with all them Chinese people? I told you about the white people, but there's a whole bunch of Chinese people there trying to set up shop and buy the land up. So you're going to have a whole Chinatown in Mexico? So we got all these Chinese people over there, Dominican Republic, Cuba, and now Mexico. Everywhere where they're selling fresh fruits and fresh this and fresh that and copacetic, they're here, and here they come. And they up there telling you about some fucking cartel, which that shit sound like a fish. Was it a fish fart? Huh? What's really going on? What's really happening? So all of these, they've had 6 to plus plane crashes happening. Plane crash in Philadelphia, which looked like which for me didn't even look like a damn plane to me. I started to look at some shit and look very closely. So when you look at the frequency on Asian television, it didn't look like an airplane. It looked like a missile. Then it made me start thinking about the whole fires, and people kept saying there were drones flying over. I said, right? Let me see something here. Here we go. So I just kind of looked at some things. The Ukraine developed a drone that drops Molotov cocktails. Is that how it got to Altadena? Were there drones dropping off? Also, in addition to what they were saying? They kept telling us they kept seeing drones. Ukrainians developed drones that drops Molotov cocktails. Meanwhile, that guy who has the long eyebrows, he got traded to the Mavericks. They switched off to that, what's his name, that Luka dude who's supposed to be Ukrainian, onto the Lakers. Black history. Okay. So then as you start to look, then it says a flying bomb is a winged jet propelled missiles that carries a large explosive warhead. V1 flying bomb and all this. I'm like, okay. So when you start to look at certain things and analyze these crashes, like remember I talked about the one that happened in Fullerton, which the girl who died with her father was my son's friend. Two dead, 18 injured. Philadelphia, Kansas City. All these locations, Potomac. We still trying to get over the damn bridge falling. That was wild. Okay, we're trying to understand some things. Drones, missiles, medical airplane, American United, air, fire, earth, water magic, warlock, wizards, practical rituals. To get what you want, this is another, this Spellwork. America, medical, woman, Molotov, drones, sacrifices, practical rituals. Y'all didn't think in Philadelphia that shit looked weird? When you go back to DC, that crash didn't look weird because then, you know, they talk about the Black Hawks. They're also saying that some of the Black Hawk airplanes can drive themselves or fly themselves. They talk about how some military planes can fly themselves. Huh. Huh. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Gotcha. But here's something very interesting. And did y'all see that weird thing with the DNC candidates? But I'm going to put that on the shelf. There's some things going on, and we better be wise in Black History Month, right? We are seeing Trump in effect. But people are hitting me up saying, damn, you are right. They keep hiring all these third world people. You have people in Canada saying that they hate Indians and they glad this and they glad that, and United States should treat their Black people the way we treat the Indians. I said, bitch. Meanwhile, you had Trump trying to talk about tariffs. Okay. Someone was telling me that Elon Musk is employing people from Tesla and SpaceX. You know, the real president, Elon. And so these people are working for their companies, but did y'all see this person? And I'm like, what the fuck? What's this? Y'all look up AKACH Baba. They're saying he will have access to our social security numbers. Elon Musk recruits Indian origin Akash Baba to dodge amid uproar over hiring kids. Here's all about him. The newly established Department of Government Efficiency, so they getting rid of the old shit to create new governmental federal entities called DODGE of the U.S. government, has reportedly assembled a team of 6 young engineers, and it has stirred quite the controversy. This team reportedly comprised of inexperienced employees, the youngest being 19. Notably, it has an Indian origin techie named Akash Baba. Okay. So, inside information. Here's a little bit of information. I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a little bit of frequency. So I'm gonna give a little bit of cyber gossip. The white people working for the FBI are snitching on people. Okay? they're telling on people, right? And let me see here. There's something very interesting. Here we go. Okay. So what's happening in the FBI, because they're all on edge and they're having anxiety, the white people are snitching on other white people, and they're all in a huddle talking among themselves, and basically they're ousting you niggas. Even meetings that they used to do it through, and they said especially the white men are doing it, that they're basically uninviting black people into these meetings. However, this whole interesting thing that's going around in the FBI is that they want people to retire. However, if you retire, you're asked out, or if you take the package, you're asked out because there's a federal hiring freeze. But what is happening, what I'm getting out of it, is that it's not the fact it's a hiring freeze, it's the fact they're hiring what the fuck they want to, whoever they want to hire, and the people are not even qualified for the positions. Okay? That's what's happening, allegedly. And the person that they got rid of, I'm sorry, they're saying they're sending out alleged memos talk about that they are restructuring the FBI, and therefore it's all about who knows who Trump knows, who Elon knows, whosoever knows. That's who they're bringing in. Okay, so that's why you're seeing a lot of this frequency, because they're trying to make America into South Africa, to be honest with you. In addition, they call it, what is this? They're called presidential cases. So all of those hearings that you're seeing with the supposed Patel and RFK Kennedy is all a bunch of bullshit. They're already in. They are already getting their clearances, whatever they get. And what the other people, what they're talking about, that these people have two lives. They said even their socials, they said their lives are just different. However, all that they were seeing is on bullshit. They said them people laughing. That's not real. They already know what they're going to do. Matter of fact, they already knew that they was going to fuck around with the FBI months ago, almost a year ago, allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly to everything. And the funny thing is that somehow, I don't know what the heck Dr. Oz is going to be, but somehow he has some kind of alleged clearance, allegedly. Again, I'm crazy and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And the bottom line of all of this frequency, and to understand this, is that the person and people are talking about, like, we were so busy looking at Biden pardon people, we didn't realize that Trump allegedly under his frequencies was pardoning people who were pedophiles and sexual assaulters and traffickers and more. Allegedly, this is what they're saying. They said it was quietly done. And then people are talking about that some of them immigrants are over there in, what's that, Cuba, that Bay, whatever that place is called. Allegedly, this is what they're saying. The person is also, we're crazy here. They're talking about that there are for real reptilians. And I said, like, looking like reptiles. And then they described the eyes and who's listening and what's going on and what they look like. I said, whoa, there's a lot of shit going on. And the person was saying that allegedly that black people got to wash themselves, because again, the white people are telling on each other and telling on you and throwing you under the bus and being connected to stuff in the FBI. Okay, so, and this also includes the CIA, and what I'm understanding, the FBI, the CIA is not very fond of this new frequency that's in place, because what they're doing is tearing down the old and bringing in some new bullshit. Okay, and bringing in motherfuckers who are basically unqualified. And again, black people, watch yourselves, and they're saying don't be so quick, because they're trying to force them out, but for them not to be reemployed. Within these frequencies. So what they was basically stating that a lot of this executive orders and all this shit is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of propaganda and mental games. And they're saying behind closed doors, they're laughing at American people. The other thing in Black history, y'all better be careful getting on these fucking cruises as Black people, because it might be a coercion to kidnap and kill your asses, allegedly. There's a lot of people complaining on the simple fact that, especially on Virgin and in Carnival, that motherfuckers are drugging your alcohol drinks and more. However, they said be very leery and look at the third world people that are on these ships that are working. They were talking about, especially on the gay cruise, the person was saying that a person almost got caught the fuck up because they drugged the person's drink, then had 8, they said, Mexican men, allegedly, follow him to the room. When he got in the room, there was 4 more men up in the room. So they said, be suspicious of some of these people missing. Remember the girl who allegedly jumped off the boat? Remember the little girl missing? This is a trafficking cesspool. And the people are just trying to figure out why in the hell are they trying to push more Black people on these cruises? And matter of fact, who's investing in these cruises? And why are Black people coming up missing? Just like they say, just reevaluate the energies that are going on in Mexico and Dominican Republic and all of that. That's some other energies. That's not just by mistake. That is by design. Okay? Just warning. We're just talking, right? Okay. So, we got this energies. I didn't even know the Grammys was even going on. I don't know who that woman is that's pretending to be Beyonce. I don't know why she needed security. Is there a restraining order against Jay-Z? Who in the fuck is that little girl that they call Blue Ivy? Why are they so surrounded and separating her? What is this energy? What the fuck was going on with Alicia Keys? I peeped the Dolce, but I was too busy looking at her dancing in the Masonic symbols. Who in the fuck is this? Let me see here. This new energy. Here it is. Who in the hell is Chappel Roan? Because I seen that rude ass shit of them sacrificing Babyface for this woman from, was it the journalist people? And my son was like, that's just some white girls being honorary. And I said, well, how in the hell do you disrespect Babyface for this person called Chappel Roan? So I says, well, let me not be judging. Let me just go and listen to what the fuck this person is talking about. And then I started getting triggered in my head, and I said, well, damn, she sounds like a 1980s song. So I went through some shit, and I was like, dang, it made me triggered. I started thinking about Debbie Gibson. I started listening to Debbie Gibson and Tiffany and what's her name? The one that did Toy Soldiers. Then I went into fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then the Four Non-Blondes. Then I went into fucking Boy George, then Alanis Morissette. So I said, oh, she's recycled. So they disrespected Babyface, who had years of music, writing music, and being disrespectful for this ship. I said, I don't have time for no fairy witches. But you know, here's the thing that got me about that fairy witch that they call Chappel Roan. White girls be having their witches in place, especially with music, right? where they have you young girls under Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, and Glorilla and Beyonce, them bitches ain't shit. They need to just trash them, because them white girls are going to whoop your asses in Spellwork, okay? Because while you guys sat up and got under this Eastern cultures and all this other mess, these white girls and shit then got mixed in like Wiccan shit and all this root work and all that together to do some energies on you. I don't have time for Chappel Roan abracadabra, that white girl energy. See, some of y'all be like, no, but that's fucking Luciferian, that's satanic, da 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 da. We don't know what the fuck that is. It just look very fairy. I listen to her music. I don't think it's all that. I think it's 1980s style into the 90s. Personally, it's just recycled frequency. I'm just more looking at the undertones of the frequencies of who they have in front of them to encourage their work. Black women, black girls, young black girls, or whatever, y'all don't have the same frequency. You know, so that's very sad. And either of y'all gonna listen, y'all gonna follow that shit because you ain't got a bit of sense. I don't have time for them to be up there sacrificing shit, right? So anyway, I said, how they have Beyonce kissing up on Taylor Swift? She don't, what the fuck? And then she was acting weird and she wanted to socialize. I said, Beyonce does not socialize with people. I said, who is this? And you know, them white women were mad as fuck that she won that shit. But to be honest with you, she shouldn't have won. That is an insult. Then people was like, yeah, that's that DEIA. No, it's not. DEIA is what y'all are under because of y'all mental disorders. And people have to hire y'all and not, you know. That's called affirmative action, not DEI. Allegedly. Oh, she paid for that. They've been doing this shit. God damn. We under that Spellwork. Did y'all see the, what's it called? Tiny or Little Table, whatever it's called, in Common and Brandy? What's wrong with Brandy's voice? How come she's chubbier? Is that old? And that girl, what's her name? Moni? What's wrong with her voice? I never heard. I've heard her. She what? What's her name? Moni? It's not Moni Love. Moni something. So what the fuck? Some spell work going on. Did you know Jimmy Carter won? When did he do an audio book? Y'all tripping on Beyonce, but Jimmy Carter won. It was published in y'all was out here talking about that Lady Gaga, right? I said, why y'all getting caught up in Lady Gaga? She's an Aries, and they are flipping the Aries into a Libra. Because that video, I didn't even really like listen closely, but when I looked at the video, I already knew what it's about. See, in the realities, I said, oh, she's in the sixth seal. She's in Revelations. She's in the part where Jesus, the blood, she's the lamb of the blood, the way what I understood it, she's the Lamb of the Blood, and for what the fuck she was saying, she's releasing the people in white who the dead is waiting to arise for revenge and redemption. She better cut it out for the person that she went and took their identity, come back at that ass, because she's already traumatized, right? So anyway, so then I said, oh, she's setting free the dead. I told you guys. She's setting free the dead that's in white. Because, you know, according to the Bible, you know, the Lamb of God and the people were waiting for the Lamb of God, which is Lucifer, which is Jesus. Because, you know, Jesus is supposed to be setting free the dead. So because, you know, she's an Aries and then she's pretending to be a Libra. But then what makes it very interesting is that in reality, she may really, in the frequencies, we got to be careful, you know, be a damn Pisces. So then she leads back into Pisces energy. But then over here, they're out here faking people out, because in reality, who's supposed to really set free the dead is really supposed to be a Gemini or a Cancer. Okay, and you make a Tinker into a Taurus, but those three energies, you know, it that's what it's supposed to be. But then alleged in the practical world, with Lucifer being Jesus, it has to be an air frequency, so it has to be a Gemini. Okay, because it can't be the Aquarius and it can't be the Libra, because it's how the energies fall. It's like Groundhog's Day, when they went and bothered the fuck out the groundhog and he was minding his business somewhere, and then they try to force him into springtime. But it's not springtime. Springtime is not going to be until and what I get out of it, till May or April, because what they're doing is switching up January. See, January is really May. It's a whole thing. And depending how it moves, it could turn into May or June. So therefore, they try to enforce the dang groundhog to come out at the end. Was it last month or whatever? Or what is it, February? Okay. So anyway, they try to force the groundhog into April. And the groundhog said, leave me the fuck alone. But, you know, Peter all mad and shit. But just to say all that, I said, I knew that ground. Then, you know, them crazy white folks up in that good Philadelphia, PA, that was bothering with the dang groundhog. See, they under that DEI shit, because, you know, they was on some weird shit. And I said, what the fuck are them colonial motherfuckers talking about? Edwardians and so on. I said, and this and that, and the groundhog this. I said, what the fuck in the pilgrim is going on? And so then, now I didn't went to the left and went to the right. See, all of this energy with that Lady Gaga song, the bottom line is that when you understand the seal and everything that's going on, the sixth seal, the fifth seal and sixth seal, you guys should read and understand in Revelations, that you can understand what's going on. You will understand within that video, she's trying to insinuate that the dead is rising. I told you guys the dawn of the dead is rising. I told you guys this year the dead is coming back, and so on. Now she's trying to pull out the underworld, or she's insinuating pulling out the underworld, which is in white. It's all in the Bible. That's why I said they over here telling you not to read the Bible, and they using the Bible. They using their works. You're not using your works. That whole song is about that. It's about uprooting the people so they can come. But the Aries is disguising itself as a Libra. Because in their world, the Libra is a gatekeeper. But the Libra cannot release the bodies. It has to be a Gemini, Taurus, or a Cancer, because it has to be in a certain time and movement. And they keep trying to fast track people into spring and summer. In the winter. By using numbers backwards. It's above y'all pay grade. They didn't let Bruno Mars out, huh? I seen him at the fucking awards. Did you hear this new energy going on with people's health, with gay men and anal sex and drugs? How more men are end up with kidney disease, liver, messing around with their gallbladder? Because they up there putting drugs in their butthole and having anal sex and shit doesn't matter if you're the top or bottom, because it gets in your shaft and it fucks with your prostate. Are you hearing about that? How more gay men are ending up with kidney disease? I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying what's happening. And how men are getting caught up with men putting cocaine in the shafts and having oral sex. And there's an energy going on that they're believing that's another reason why how come black men getting so caught up with anal sex and dick sucking and a lifestyle. Meth, poppers, fentanyl, cocaine, and then they talk about the pink cocaine. It's very interesting, but they're connecting when you put in a drug in your intestines, it's causing medical issues, allegedly. But look it up, read about it. I'm just telling you about it, but read about it. And it's affecting a lot of black men. Read about it, study it. Then you can understand how it's now affecting the livers. I remember when the first time I seen a black woman push a dang crystal in their ass. I said, Because they don't talk about how the powder cocaine, what it does to the clitoris. Black history, right? Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done.